Good afternoon from London. It's a nice afternoon here, maybe a bit cloudy, but still nice. And hello from me, Dr. Dermot Hudson, Chairman of the British Group for the Study of the Juche idea, Chairman of the UK Korean Friendship Association and official delegate of the Korean Friendship Association for the UK, and President of the Association for the Study of Songun Politics. Militant greetings to you all on the occasion of July 27th, Fatherland Liberation War Victory Day, the second liberation day of People's Korea. It was 67 years ago today, the 27th of July, in 1953, that the US admitted its defeat in Korea by signing the Korean Armistice Agreement. And later, General Mark Clark, the US killer general who signed the Korean Armistice Agreement on behalf of the US forces in Korea, wrote that he was the first US commander in history to sign an armistice without a victory. And indeed, much later, Bevan Alexander, the right-wing US military historian who was actually a US Army officer in Korea during the Fatherland Liberation War, very anti-communist and anti-DPRK writer. In fact, you can't get someone more anti-DPRK than him, said it was the first war that the US lost, and admitted that they'd failed in their objective of conquering the DPRK. And indeed, that's quite an understatement, because 67 years ago, 67 years later, People's Korea is here, and it's here to stay. No matter whether the US imperialists and other international reactionaries and liberals like it or not, say People's Korea is standing strong, defying the US sanctions. And that is because they have the traditions of victory inherited from the Fatherland Liberation War. The US imperialists, when they started the war, they provoked the war on the 25th of June 1950, threw in huge armed forces, about 1/3 of their ground force, as well as a large part of the Air Force and Navy, and more significantly, the troops from 15 satellite countries of US imperialism, including, to my shame and regret, Britain. And also, the Japanese imperialists were also involved in the war. They fought in the uniforms of the South Korean Puppet Army. And it's also, I believe, the case that the Taiwan reactionaries also sent forces to the war. It was a David and Goliath struggle. The US was a country with a huge global empire of military bases all around the world. And it was a war against the young Democratic People's Republic of Korea, which had only been founded 2 years before. The US was undefeated in over 100 wars, and it was also a victor nation in the Second World War, in which it actually fought across 2 different continents. It fought the Japanese in Asia, and also fascist Italy and Nazi Germany in Europe. So when they provoked the war against the DPRK in 1950. Few people actually thought that the DPRK would survive, let alone be able to successfully defend its land and win victory over the US imperialists. But it did win. This was because they had as their leader, the great leader, Generalissimo Kim Il-sung, an ever-victorious, iron-willed, brilliant commander and gifted military strategist who had the Songun idea and the Juche idea. And during the Fatherland Liberation War, he applied Juche-based original military tactics, such as opening a second front behind enemy lines, and also the tactic of tunnel warfare, which was later used in Vietnam. And indeed, people sometimes say Korea was the war before Vietnam. And the Korean people fought heroically. Also, there were guerrilla units operating behind enemy lines. There were guerrillas who fought in South Korea, as well as the regular Korean People's Army. And the US incurred heavy losses, and it was the US who actually first proposed armistice talks in 1951, which shows the fact they were losing, because if you are winning a war, the last thing you do is to propose armistice talks. The US losses in the war were quite colossal, and it is a fact that even if you accept the doctored and watered down statistics for US casualties in the Fatherland Liberation War, they are still higher for each year of the Fatherland Liberation War compared to each year of the Vietnam War, and of course also much higher than US losses in Iraq and Afghanistan. I think that shows the scale of the US defeat. The defeat of the US inspired the oppressed peoples of the world in their struggles against imperialism. Indeed, anti-imperialist struggles flared up in Asia and Africa and other parts of the world. And as I said, Korea was the war before Vietnam, and the US defeat in Korea was also followed by the US defeat in Vietnam. It was a great victory for the Korean people, and July 27th in the DPRK is a public holiday, and as I speak, there's celebrations taking part in Pyongyang. I was there in Pyongyang 7 years ago for the 60th anniversary of the victory in the Fatherland Liberation War, and participated in the great events, which were truly spectacular. And there were all kinds of events. There was a great military parade in Pyongyang, and I remember in particular because they actually brought the helicopters through the streets, and they flew over Kim Il-sung Square. It was very impressive, and the firework display at the Fatherland Liberation War Museum was something truly fantastic and out of this world. We also participated in solidarity actions that were organised by the Korean Committee for Solidarity with the World People and the Korean Committee for Cultural Relations with Foreign Countries. And I remember we held a big demonstration at the reunification monument, and we went down to Kaesong and Panmunjom, where we took part in anti-imperialist rallies. And I remember addressing a big anti-imperialist rally in Kaesong and also at Sinchon. So the traditions of victory are alive in the DPRK and will echo down the centuries, and July 27th will be eternal. So thank you for listening to this. Please subscribe if you're not already subscribed to the channel, and please support the events of the British Group for the Study of the Juche idea and the UK Korean Friendship Association. Saying I wish you all a good day, happy July 27th, and please stay safe. Thank you.